to the cloud. Excellent. So once again, I'd like to welcome every one of you to our beautiful mentoring program. It's another day that we get to learn great things, life skills that will help us in life. Today, we are going to be looking at a very, very important topic, which I believe can relate to every one of us, and that is relationship. Yes, we can all relate to relationship because we all have relationships in our lives. We have our families, we have our friends, we have you guys are not at that stage now, but when you grow older, you're going to have your husbands, your wives. So there are different kind of relationships that we find ourselves in, and relationships are crucial to our survival in life as a human race, as a human being, as girls, as women. Relationships are very, very crucial. They facilitate our reproduction. They provide love and nurturing. They provide a nurturing environment, especially for you that are still with your parents right now, for our development. They enhance our life opportunities, and it's so through relationship. The way you handle your relationship determines how far you go in life, because relationships are the building blocks of life. How you handle your relationships matters a lot. It can enhance your life opportunity, or it can take it to a negative direction. It also extends our survival. We're able to survive more, be able to overcome some life challenges, be able to overcome stress because of how we handle our relationships. So building relationship is very, very, very important. That is why today we are going to be looking at how we can build healthy relationships. We are biological beings. We are biological, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to be loved, to accept love, and to belong. We all want to belong to one relationship or the other. That's the yearning of the heart of every human being. But then it's one thing to yearn to be loved, but it's another thing to be able to handle that relationship that we're in. So different relationship, there calls for different strategies. A family relationship, the way you build it is different. A friend relationship, the way you build it is different. A colleague at your workplace, the relationship you build is different. Your friends at school, the way you build that relationship is different. That's why it's important to have good relationship skills. For you to be able to have healthy relationship, you have to be able to have good relationship skills. It doesn't come easy. It's not a natural thing. It's something that you have to build. You have to learn. You relate. We relate on purpose. So if you want to have a healthy relationship, you have to be able to do that on purpose. And the way you can do that on purpose is by having the right skills. And that's why we're taking our time to be able to learn how to have good relationship skills so we can have good, healthy relationship and healthy life. So today we have someone who, of course, is no stranger to us. She was with us a few weeks ago where she taught us. All right. And she's no other person than Dr. Cordelia Awazie. And I don't think I'm going to be reading her bio today.
No, please don't bother. It's too long.
So and I want to spare her. So I know she's not going to be talking too much today. Maybe she'll be more interactive with us because she also has the next section that she's going to be dealing with. So I would like to welcome Dr. Awaze to the podium as she takes over helping us to learn how to build our relationship skills.
Thank you so much, ma. I'm just trying to okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes, I can see you, but not your PowerPoint if that's what you're trying to do.
Yes, I think I will have to share my PowerPoint. There's so much. I'm trying to share my PowerPoint. So just 1 minute. Before I start, I need to apologize to everyone. Share screen. What am I doing? I need to apologize because I didn't proofread my work. I was so busy.
That's all right.
Yeah, so I was so busy. I just barely started, and I think I just finished it. So, but I think I'm having difficulty sharing my.
Yeah, because you're sharing. You have to choose the yes, choose that particular one. So you're gonna stop sharing. No, this is the one you want to choose. The one that says effective communication. Which one is it? Relationship dynamics. Perfect. Yeah, you're good.
Can you see that?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
1 moment. Let me just pick up my charger.
Okay, no worries.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Good. At
Why?
least we made
This
it,
is
so that's
why we
what's
should come
important.
in prepared. But well, life happens.
Yeah, life happens. Life happens. Most important thing is that you made it.
Yeah, and
That's what counts. You made it.
Yeah. So today our topic is relationship, relationship dynamics and networking skills. And so before we continue, I'd like us to look at what we're going to be talking about today, things that we're going to cover. We'll look at what's the topic all about, what is relationship dynamics, what is relationship, what do we understand by networking. We're going to explore more in depth of relationship and its dynamics. We're going to understand what it means to understand relationship dynamics and how we can control it. And then there's a place where I said, tell us your experience, because I don't want it to just be me talking throughout the time. I like it to be more interactive. So that's why I find a place to allow others to cite their examples, because this also helps me to understand whether people are following the lecture and if people do understand what we are talking about. Then after we're done with that, we're going to be looking at networking in depth, types of networking, stages of networking, and then conclusion slash question. So I'll read out my slide because I'm going to be reading. I hate to read when I'm presenting, but unfortunately, I may have to do that today. One moment. Okay. Guys, bear with me. Okay. So, introduction is, we all know that as human beings seek to have relationship. Every one of us, any form of relationship. Like presently, most people relate online. Some people who can even like approach others face to face to talk to them. They have friends online, they have friends in their school, they have friends at their workplace. So we desire to relate with other people. And so people build links with social group and create one-to-one encounter with others, either through mutual knowledge. So like what happens in your school, what happens in, probably if you work in healthcare, what happens in healthcare, what brings you together is just that common knowledge or common clientele. Some people come through communication, discussion, and the prospect of collaboration or cooperation, which are the bedrock of networking. So relationship, what do I mean by bedrock of networking? Relationship is important in networking. You cannot relate just by being on your own. You relate by interconnecting with others. You relate by reaching out to others. It may be through face to face, it may be through online. And then networking in its simplest form begins with casual conversation, popularly known as small talks. For example, you can just see someone you've never met before and you just say, it's a beautiful day today. That's casual networking. But there are other types of networking where it will not just be like the small talk. It might be business. There are sometimes you've seen somebody you like to network with. What happens? You say, okay, this is this person. Let me find out what is it that I can use to engage this person. It could be that the person is interested in sports, and then what you'll be talking about won't be weather. You'll be talking about sports. So it doesn't need to, it doesn't really necessarily mean that the first time you are going to initiate your own network or initiate a relationship, it must be that you know everything about the person. Sometimes you can even run into somebody that will change your life for good, where you never planned and when you never planned. So, but just having that skills of initiating a simple conversation, it's safer to start with something that everybody is interested in, like something simple about the weather, something simple about, not everyone has pets, so we have to be careful. Like topics we should avoid when you are striking a relationship for the first time and you don't know the person are controversial topics. Topics like politics. Some people don't believe in religion. You don't know what religion that they belong to. Sports is a general stuff that people are interested in, even if you don't know the particular stuff, sports. So if it's like, depending on the environment where you met the person, you could say, oh, what's your favorite sport? Or the person can even tell, oh, I don't do any of those sports. Oh, you can change topic. So, however, building relationship and networking are not so easy to achieve by some individuals. It is taking a different dimension, like I mentioned, in today's world, where people mutually beneficial relationship and network activities now occur without physical contact. There are many of us who have Facebook friends. We've never met them. We have friends who are outside Canada. We don't know we may know their pictures, we may have their pictures, we may have their profile, but ironically it may not be correct, because some people steal other people's pictures to put on their profile, so you don't know. So when, depending on that kind of relationship, that will determine how much disclosure and how you can communicate with that individual. So each relationship presents its own unique dynamic based on the people involved and the type of setting, just like I said. Hence, successful networking in these different relationships requires skills. So some people are good at networking online. Some people are very good at face-to-face conversation and networking. So it depends. You need to understand what the setting is and how you can relate with the person and how much information you can share. And so I want to define, according to Williams, relationship dynamics is the attitudes and behavior that occur between individuals in the way we associate, engage, and communicate with one another. And is also known, sorry, I'm sorry, in case you just notice anything, but just bear with me, like I said. So, however,
Okay.
networking is an intentional exchange of information, resources, support, and access in order to develop mutually advantageous partnership for person and professional successes. Networking, in simple terms, networking in simple terms is speaking to and connecting to others, which could be formal or informal. So relationship. Humans engage with different relationships, including relationship with family, friends, colleagues, business associates, professional associates, religious family, pets, and others. I know it will be funny to say, oh, why pets? Back when I was in Africa, I wouldn't include relationship with pets. But now that I'm here in Western world, I've seen that some people, they benefit the same kind of benefits that they get from others, they also get from their animals. Some people have their dog. I know someone who is undergoing a divorce. Every time she says how her little dog that she bought is giving her uh, um, like kind of filling up the gap of loneliness and all that. So she's spending time with the dog. She's happy. She's relating with her dog. She's doing everything she could have done for a child, for her dog, and that's giving her the fulfillment that she desires. So even how you relate also with your pet or whatever has its own benefit. So it is crucial to understand that the foundation of any relationship starts with thoughtful communication. Within seconds of meeting people, they can assess you and make judgment about you. So if we engage poorly with others, the experience may not be as positive as planned interaction. So that you just met someone. Remember I said small talks. So you've seen that person, you don't just jump in there and say, okay, yeah, let me just strike conversation. You need to think, stop, think, and say, what would be the best thing to talk about? Like, for example, where I am right now, it's wet and it's raining. If I go to the person because I've memorized I need to talk about weather, and I just say, oh, it's a sunny day today. Like the person will be looking at you like, what are you talking about? I can see a wet weather, I can see that it's raining. This is what I'm saying. And then you're talking about a sunny day today. So you need to think about what is the one word I'm going to say, and how do you comport yourself when you're engaging with somebody for the first time. That matters a lot. So relationship has its own challenges and is frequently developed on the very first meeting between two people. There are some people that the very first time you've met them, I've heard people who have mentioned that they went for an interview, They don't even know the person or one of the panelists. And as soon as they got in there, it was like, oh, they had previous quarrel or they had previous problem. Why? Because as soon as they walk into the door, the person had already concluded and formed an opinion about them. And once that has happened, it's either going to become a barrier to further communication, or it can be an open door. So, how we view, respond, and relate to someone we've just met is usually based on our own personal life experiences before that initial encounter. There are some people that, because they have already decided that, oh, certain people from certain race, like I want to cite an example. There was a job I did recently, and somebody from a certain race, I don't want it to be like I'm a racist, that's why I'm not mentioning. The first thing the person will say to me is that, oh, I hear that Africans, they are very corrupt, they are very dubious. Have coming with that kind of mindset and seeing me, that's how the person is watching me. And it was so hard for me and that person to strike a mutual relationship. So that relationship never worked out, because every time he sees, it's like he's suspicious. What is she looking for? What does she hope to benefit from this relationship? Is she genuine? So those questions. So because of life experiences, because of what we have heard and whatever, those can either it affect our relationship, or our relationship dynamics positively or negatively. So we're going to address how to deal with that. So this is because how we experience life is how we engage, communicate, cooperate with people, which determines our relationship dynamics. When you view a person as a friend, you communicate in that manner. However, if you view someone as a spy, you will definitely continue to interact with caution, even if the person comes in a saintly robe. I put it as quotation mark because it may not be in the dictionary. So, relationship dynamics result from various interconnected behavior at several levels, including social, political, economic, corporate development, family, and romantic coupling. As a result, it is critical to pay attention to our words, facial expression, posture, and overall demeanor, because inner triggers which may either positively or negatively impact on the dynamics can occur. So, exactly what I explained. If you come in, like some people, as soon as you are walking in, have you ever seen a situation where someone is walking in and is like, he's in charge of the whole place? And probably you are the boss. So how you present yourself, you need to see what is the mood, how are the people here behaving, are they loud, do they want it quiet, how do they want it, and that should be how you present yourself. Even if you're an extrovert and you are very loud, you like things in a certain manner, if you want to engage and have a meaningful relationship dynamics, or you want to strike a meaningful relationship, you need to think about the other person, how the person perceives you, and how you would like to be perceived, especially when it's the first encounter. So, in Africa, there's something I heard when I was growing up. They say, dress the way you want to be addressed. Some people, once you just look at them, just the way they dress, you have formed an opinion. You either form an opinion that this person looks responsible, or this person looks like a criminal, or this person might be a laborer, or whatever. Just their dressing. And sometimes you may be wrong, because it might just be that that day the person decided to dress that particular way. It may not be associated with the person's character. But however, we cannot influence or change what somebody's or someone's opinion based on how we dress. But we can only modify how somebody will perceive us by dressing how we expect to be addressed. So relationship dynamics also describe the way of doing things and customs developed within a relationship. Sometimes people come in with whatever they have into a relationship, but once they continue to relate with each other, they make modification. Olam, are you okay? You look bored. Hope it's not so boring. So, I'm so sorry because actually I prepared this topic not for your group. It was for other people, but here we are. So how so each person's previous and present life experiences, including family. You know, some people grew up in dysfunctional families. How were you raised? The way you were raised. Some people are raised in the form that don't talk to stranger. Every stranger is a suspect. Some people grow up with no rules and regulation, and they can see somebody for the first time, they are hugging the person and they are whatever, they are just like, no restriction. So the way we behave when we see people is influenced by our family culture or cultural belief and other authoritative influences. And so when we come into that relationship, consciously or unconsciously, whatever we are bringing in affects the dynamics of that relationship. So, for example, someone who has been betrayed by a close friend previously will find it hard to trust anyone fully. So, whatever relationship they engage in after the betrayal may not enjoy the same dynamics as they would sometimes hold back due to fear. So, what do I mean by that? If you have been betrayed by someone who is so close to you, no matter how good the next person comes, there's that part of you that will always be cautioning you, be careful. This was exactly, in fact, this is what they call transference. So, the same way you felt about the person who betrayed you, consciously or unconsciously, you might be kind of looking at this new person with that eyes that, well, give her 1 month. Oh, give her 2 months. And because you are doing that, you are not fully engaging in that relationship. And when you do not fully engage in that relationship, it brings up its own unique dynamic, which is different from when you had not been hurt previously, when you were more open and more receptive and more willing to engage. So whatever thing that has happened in our past affects how we respond. And then if we allow that to continue, sometimes it may be counterproductive, sometimes it may be productive. That's why for every relationship, we must spend time to understand what we hope with that relationship and how much we are willing to give for that relationship. And if the relationship is one that you don't think that there is trust, I think it will be better to step back because it's going to end up with bitterness. You will be hurt, you'll be beaten. So many things will happen because the other person, whatever, every action brings about a reaction. And so that reaction may positively impact on you or negatively impact on your mental health or your physical health. And anything that will negatively impact on you, step back and just let go because you don't want that negativity. You have already so much things that you are dealing with that you don't want any negative relationship or anything that will impact on you negatively. So, so understanding, one moment. So, however, most people are unaware of, one moment, my slide is freezing. It's okay. So, most people are unaware of how they are affected or how others affect them or how whatever is happening in their life affects the dynamics that they are experiencing in their relationship. So, in order for you to maximally benefit from your relationship or have a good relationship dynamics, it's important to understand and control the relationship dynamics in all aspects of our life that may significantly impact that relationship, no matter where we are on the scale. What does that mean? That wherever you are, even if you are in the position of trust, distrust, or whatever, for you to benefit maximally from that relationship, you need to understand what that relationship means to you. Is it what's going all the way to keep the relationship? Is it what's remaining there? Is it affecting me negatively or positively? What am I giving to the relationship? What am I willing to give up? And what am I not willing to give up? How can I control this relationship so that not just me benefiting, the person that I'm having relationship with or establishment that I have relationship will benefit. Most times, for any relationship to be positive and long lasting, it must be mutually beneficial. One way relationship is not the best. And if we find ourselves in any relationship that is just one way, it's better for us to end that relationship. So to understand relationship or your relationship dynamics, what are the kind of things that you need to look at? First, you need to know what kind of relationship is this. There's a relationship that is hard to end. If it's your family relationship, what do? You need to stick it out and find a way to modify it and make it better. So first you need to understand what kind of relationship am I into? Is it friendship? Is it an acquaintance? Is it family? Is it business? Is it church? Politics? Romantic? Once you have understood the type of relationship that you are into, the next thing is the relationship mutually beneficial or I feel used? Are the goals of this relationship clearly stated or understood by me? Is there transference or counter transference? What do we mean by transference? Sometimes there are some people you will just say, oh, this person behaves like my mom, or looks like my mom, or looks like someone, or behave like someone that you hold with high esteem. You haven't gotten to know the person and you don't know whether they actually have those characteristics. But just first impression that they look and behave like certain people that you respect so much, you transfer the love that you have for that other real person in your life to them. And then you start relating with them in that manner. But unfortunately, they may not be who you think they are. And in that kind of relationship, you might get hurt. Or counter transference. Some people might just be seeing you for the first time. They say, oh my God, you look like someone I know. And then they treat you like someone they know. And they have their own expectation based on their past experience, which you cannot fit into another person's shoes, right? So based on those experiences, they want you to behave in certain ways and act in certain ways, which probably that is not you. So with that, the dynamics of that relationship will eventually be affected. That's why no matter how much people like you and believe that, oh, especially with transference or counter transference, it's good for you to let them know this is who I am. Thank you for associating me with certain persons or whatever, but this is me. I'm unique in my ways. Please be open to my flaws. Like, don't think that, oh, I'm 100% whoever you are believing I am. So when you keep reminding them of that, then even if there's any changes, you can also tell them, what are your expectations? We can communicate. Let me know what you expect of me in this relationship. As I also let you know what I expect. It must be mutual. You must be able to communicate. It cannot be one way, because if it's one way, it's going to be strained. It's going to be strained. I remember how I used to, we all know when we not know about the wind, or should I say broom. We don't have that kind of broom here, but back in Africa, when I'm talking about relationship, we talk about broom. If you want to grab one broom or one stick and turn it all the way, it may not be able to make it all the way to meet the other. It might break along the way. It might be excessively strained. But if one comes halfway and the other one comes halfway, both of them will be standing and they'll be able to walk her stuff. But if things that needs to go are things that are core values for you and they are good values, you can never compromise. And you let that person know, I can't compromise this. It's better to cut off that relationship than to adjust to have a dynamics that might be based on falsehood. Do we have any questions? Are we understanding so far? Yeah, I've been talking so much. Okay, so before we continue, I would like us, this is discussion time, practical time, because I've been doing all the talking. I would like us to tell me one situation where you feel like the relationship that you struck did not work well, probably because of somebody transferring or counter transferring love or whatever, or hatred towards you. Has anyone experienced that? If you have, please share your experience with us, so that I won't be the only one talking. Pastor Blessing, you are still part of it, so you can also share with us.
I would probably say that I've met a lot of people that I've tried to become friends with, but I
Yeah.
just didn't because we didn't really have a lot of it just be kind of awkward most of the time.
So what do you think could have gone wrong, or how could it have been better?
Um, uh, I don't know. Um, I'm not really sociable, so probably that's why.
And when you say I'm not sociable, can you? I hope you don't mind. I might put you on the spot.
No,
Okay. When you say I'm not sociable, what do you mean by that?
I kind of like keeping to myself most of the time. Um, Usually, if I make friends, it's people that I knew for like a long time. It's harder to meet new people.
Would you like to meet people? Would you like to? Because that's why we're talking about networking today, you know? Like today's world, we cannot do things on our own. Somehow there must be a form of networking, either face to face or online. You need someone for a reason. Like here, we're networking, you know that? Here we are listening to them talking to you about a certain topic. Mommy Blessing set up this forum for us to communicate, interact, and do all the stuff that we are doing. And sometimes life may not always be online. There are certain things that cannot happen online. It may need to happen face to face. So, but change is one thing that we know that can continue to happen. You don't need to be an extrovert, but we need to learn how to interact with others, how to connect with others, how to strike a relationship. It may not be like I said, part of some one of our kind of relationship might just be mere acquaintance. Doesn't mean that all relationship must end up being very close or intimate, right? But because there are certain things that we need in life. For example, you never know. You might be a doctor tomorrow, right? How do you care for your patient? First, you will need to find a way to interact with your patient in such a way that they feel safe to disclose their whatever they are feeling or their ailment or whatever, and then you'll be able to manage them, right? So that's why today we're looking at this relationship dynamics and looking at networking. So networking, when you hear the word networking, most times what we think about is business. It may not always be business. It might even just be that, oh, I know someone who is an instructor in ABC school, and I want my child there. They might have a quota, they might give your child that quota just because they know you and you're friends with them, right? So that's not business. It's just a friend that you know somewhere. That's networking. Sometimes I remember there was something we did recently, and my son met somebody for the first time. And his school now gave them an assignment. They needed to interview someone that is in a big position. Just that one time of meeting that guy, he reached out to him and said, please, can I interview you for this assignment? That's networking. Sometimes you don't need more than one encounter to get one person that will change your life for good. So, but the first thing about changing how we feel about ourselves is to want to change. If we do not feel like we need to change stuff, then we may not be able to change it. But if we feel like we need to change or we desire to interact more, then we can go using baby steps. Am I making sense? Or how do you feel? Do you feel safe?
Like here,
Yeah, do you feel safe? Do you feel non-judged? I'm not judging you, but I'm just like, how do you feel? I need to know how you feel about what I'm saying.
yeah, I feel safe.
Okay, and you feel non-judged, right? It's a
Yeah,
good thing to select who we interact with, but it's also a good thing to try to connect, okay? So, does any other person have an experience to share with us? Okay, I'm going to share an experience that I had. So, there was someone that so I'm going to talk about what I'm going to share is a life experience about relationship dynamics. I'm someone that is hard for me to let go. So, it's not like you are the only one. We all have our own problems and challenges. So it's not, so I'm gonna disclose. Like when I have friends, I do my best to keep that relationship. So much that I might just be suffering in silence. I had this friend. I did all I could to make sure that that relationship kept happening. And I could see that this person does not want me. But then I keep making excuses that no, this person, it might just be that he's stressed, is this, is that. Until one day, I noticed that this person, whenever they need me, is when they need me for something. Until one day I went, like the person will always come, even if the person doesn't give me information or whatever. I say, oh, I'm here. I will open my door, no matter how I feel, tired or whatever the person needs, I will do for the person. But one day, I went to this person's house and they locked me out.
Mm.
Like, they locked me out. And I asked myself, this person has been to my house like this how many times? But I will keep making excuses. But I looked at it because I'm a Christian. I said, God, I don't need to let me make excuses. I still made the same kind of excuses. And I didn't take it personal. A week after, the person called me. Hey, I'm having a party for ABC. Would you mind coming over? The same house you didn't let me in, you want me to come in for a party because you know that when I'm coming for a party, I must come with something. That was when I sat down and told myself that I think is enough. So any relationship that is not mutually beneficial affects you negatively. And the longer you stay in that toxic relationship, it will affect other relationships. Because when people do things that are less than what you tolerated when you were in the toxic relationship, you might react negatively, which might make you lose an important relationship that would have helped you in life. So that's why the earlier you identify toxicity and then disconnect yourself from that, the better for you, so that it doesn't put in you experiences that will make you lose better chances in life. Did we learn anything from my experience? Is Olivia there? I can't see Olivia.
Olivia is she's not a participant. She's just one of our supporters. She's always here helping on
Oh,
that
I
note.
see you.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay then.
But
Sarah,
I'm
I don't need to
listening.
put you on the spot.
But
Do you
she's
have
here. She's telling you that she's here.
Oh,
Just to
okay,
let you know,
Olivia, do you have
Olivia.
something to say? Share with us. I prefer interactive sections rather than teaching.
I'm
Yeah.
still listening. Go ahead. Maybe I will have something to share later, please.
Okay. Okay. By the way, I enjoyed your lecture last week because that voice sounded like the voice I heard last week. Sarah, sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you have anything to share with us? Okay, thank you. So the next thing we're going to be looking at now is networking skills. The people we want to network with are likely to have a track record of business and personal successes. We don't want to network with people who we feel that they cannot be role models to us. You don't want to network with somebody that you have already concluded that this will not be a good influence. No. Most times that we want to network with people, there is a reason. It may not be business, it might be profession, it might be that there's something we want to better in our life. And so, and these same leaders, for us to best get their help, we must approach them in a planned manner, because leaders who can best help us will tell when someone is only interested in the monetary benefits. Why are you here? Why do you want to interact with me? Why do you want to network with me? Is it just all you can get from me? What can I get from you? These are the questions that are going on in their mind, no matter how little. What do you have to offer? I almost quoted Bible, so that's okay. What do you have to offer? So, however, when you engage with genuine enthusiasm, they will sense your genuineness. When you are fake, people know that you are fake. People might just smile and just okay, but they know that you are not being genuine. They know that, oh, this is not you. Because even when you are ingenuine, it can't last forever. It will affect your relationship. At some point in your downtime, the real you will come out. And then that ends that network. That ends that link that you are trying to make. It breaks it. So it's better if they know you, oh, this is who you are, and they accept you for whom you are. It's better for you. Because when you have that network, it lasts longer. But if you come in an ingenuine manner, it won't take long before the truth will come out. And what happens? You might leave hurt. You might have lost something very important. It might even be that because you are ingenuine, this person could have loved you better if you were yourself. But being yourself doesn't mean you shouldn't comport yourself. Being yourself doesn't mean you shouldn't understand the setting, the situation, the relationship you are trying to strike. Remember, we talked about different type of relationship dynamics, like family. The way you react when you are with your family, the way you let yourself loose when you are with your family is different from the way you comport yourself when you are relating with your teacher or when you are relating with your boss or in an establishment. So you must understand what that network is all about, so that you know how best to bring out the best in you. Some people have mastered the art of networking that when they start a new discussion, it appears so natural and simple. However, some others need to learn the skill deliberately. So you remember, Uloma, I'm using as an example, I hope you don't mind. So trying to be able to connect with people, remember when I said baby step? So baby step might be, oh, today I'm going for this occasion. I know people are going to be there. I may not necessarily need to speak to anyone, but you can give yourself a goal that today I will make one friend. So how do I prepare myself for that occasion? What is this occasion all about? Is it a sports occasion? Is it an academic occasion? Is it health related? Is it science discovery? What is it all about? Once you know what that occasion is all about, you know the audience that will be in that occasion. You can just think about one simple thing that you will want to talk about in striking a conversation with someone. It could even be that you are going for movies. What's the movie you are going to watch or whatever? You have an idea. Maybe the person sitting by you, you cannot think, okay, this is what I will say. Because you can find people anywhere. I remember 2 weeks ago, one of the doctors said, oh, guess who I met at, was it 2 weeks? Sometime last month, yeah, or this month. One of the doctors said, guess who I met at the stadium? Benny Harry. We know the Minister for Health. Who will believe that you meet her going to watch Canon games? And they both met there. They took pictures. So you can, places where you don't even expect, you can meet very important people. But if you have planned the simple talk that you can use to generate or to strike a relationship, once you see them, you can just say, oh, hi, it was a beautiful game today. The person will respond, it was a beautiful game. And before you know, you can ask one more question, but preferably open-ended questions help the relationship to, or help the conversation to keep going on. So networking is a process. It takes time, effort, and careful selection and nurturing of the relationship for it to bear fruit. What do we mean? Remember that word, careful selection. It doesn't mean that every person you see, wherever you go to, you network with them, or every person you see, you just begin to talk to them. No, you may just look at them, and whoever your mind says, this is who I want to communicate with today, or you could just small talks and you decide, or during the introduction, you could just tell yourself, this is the person I want to target to connect with in that occasion. Quality is better than quantity. You don't need to network with everybody in an occasion. You can just pick one person at a time. So that's why we're going to be looking at some key tips One, prepare an introduction of yourself that will make you stand out. What is so unique about you? Why should I listen to you? Why should I network with you? Especially when you are dealing with very important people who are successful. We are all important. There's nobody that is not important, but there are some people, by virtue of where they are in the society, they are public figures. Let me use the word public figures because we are all very important. We are unique in our ways. And the difference between the rich guy today and the poor guy today is time. Especially if you are working towards it. If you are doing nothing, even with time, you still remain where you are. So the second tip is prepare to communicate relevant message. So research your audience and what to say. So you don't just talk randomly or raise a topic that will, at the end of the day, everybody's living there hot. Or you would have created a toxic relationship. Then the third is be present. Being present means actively listening. Show respect and genuineness. This is very, very important, especially in this day generation. Because I notice that when we are talking, people are on their phone, like pressing stuff, whatever it is that they are doing. So that makes the person feel like they are uninterested. Sometimes people start off a conversation, the person is responding, and then you allow yourself to be distracted. You are checking Facebook, you are doing one thing or the other. That will affect that networking, will affect the network you are trying to create. It will affect that relationship that you are trying to strike. So be present, active listening, continue the conversation. So the next point that you need to consider when networking is that open-ended questions help with keeping the conversation going. If you just use closed-ended question, they can answer you yes or no. But when you remember when I said to Uloma, tell me what you mean by I'm not. Can I remember what you said? Can you fill in the gap for me?
I'm not very sociable.
Yeah. So they could say something and you would tell them, tell me what you mean by I'm not sociable. So in the process of telling you what they mean by that, the conversation is going. And then it prevents the awkward silence that we sometimes experience. Because sometimes, even while they are saying that, even if you don't know what to say, in the process of them discussing and telling you what they mean by certain statement or answering your open-ended question, you will find the next thing or the next topic to bring up, which is relevant to them, which is within the context of what they are saying. And then the conversation gets going and the relationship gets stronger. So another thing is that quality is better than quantity. It's not the number of people that you have, it's the quality of people that you have. So in that place, wherever you want to strike or wherever you want to network with somebody, who are you targeting? Are you just targeting anyone or any person who comes by me is who I'm going to talk to? Who is the person that you are targeting? You need to target people you want to network with and then give them that quality time. Quality, always remember that quality is better than quantity. Some people will just say, okay, in this occasion, I spoke to 30 people. At the end of the 30 people, none of them even recognize that you even spoke with them or you knew them. But if you spend quality time, it might just be something very interesting that you mentioned that the person is going back quoting you. You may not have even remembered what your name is, but whatever you said in that conversation that struck that person, the person might be going and say, somebody I met in so and so place said this. For example, there's something I heard somebody say lately. You say words without a dollar means nothing. Why did she say that? Her boss was praising her that, oh, you did a great job. And then somebody else said, oh, and she was telling other people that, she just praised me for a great job. And that one said, words without dollar means nothing. She went back to her boss and said, words without dollar means nothing. Do I have a raise? So now, even if I don't remember that person, I remember that quote, words without dollar means nothing. with your job, right? So what is it that the person is going to remember you for that will make them look forward to reconnecting with you or make them want to follow up, of when you follow up they want to respond back? So that's why we must be prepared. We must carefully think through what we want to say so that we don't say things that when we leave there, we live in embarrassment. Like I as a person, there's been some conversations or some meetings that I've had, and when I go back to reflect on it, I'm all green or feeling very embarrassed because to me, I feel like that was not good enough. I didn't strike a good first impression. But however, when you fail, don't be too hard on yourself. Think about how to make it better. Because if you never forgive yourself, you remain in that position for too long. And it's also not good for your mental health. So types of networking. We have the personal network. So the personal network is like your immediate relatives, your friends, acquaintances, and in those network, like in school, your school, you have your mutual interests. Like long-term relationship are commonly used to create sort of network. Personal network are more social than other type of networks since they are built on the sharing of assistance and support. So we know that those are your personal network. Like the example I cited, um, for example, Pastor Blessing has Dr. Mrs. Blessing has the foundation, and they have there's the food bank. So I might find somebody who I feel like need extra help or extra food because I have relationship with Dr. Mrs. Blessing. I can tell the person, just meet Mrs. Blessing, tell her that this is what is happening. She will give you the link and you will register. But if I don't know her, will I be able to help someone? I don't have that means to feed that guy. I don't have the money. I don't have anything. But I know someone who can take care of that need, right? So that's why, like, when we have those network, and when we sometimes, even if it's the last food that is remaining, she will say, oh, if this lady sent this person to me, this person must really be in need. The last thing that she may have kept for somebody else, she will say, okay, let's share. Let two people have it, right? But if there's no that connection, what happens? It will be like, I'm so sorry. It's already gone. I can't give this. Yeah. So there's another thing that is known as strategic network. So this is very special. So it has to do with external link and contacts to develop or join alliances with individuals from a variety of organizations, such as community institutions, local regulatory agencies, hospitals, clinic, or others. What does this mean? All these ones, they are big story. What it generally means is that, like I also use the Kingdom Arts Foundation food bank as an example. Pastor Blessing, Dr. Mrs. Blessing, please pardon me. She has double role. I know her in double capacity. So pardon
I
me.
know. I understand. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
So, so what do I mean by that? I'm sending someone to her to say, please help feed this person. It doesn't mean that she has all the food. So her ability, strategic network is her network, how she gets those food into the food bank. There are so many other kind of network she could be doing. She could be networking to sell clothes. She could be networking to do building materials or connect students to schools and all those kind of stuff. But strategically, her focus is on food. She knows the people she can network with to get those food available for people to get when they need it. So that's the strategic networking. So what is it that is your focus? What do you want to work on? Who do you think will help you achieve that focus? What do you have to bring to that table? Because it's not like just using people. You also need to have something to bring to the table. So like in the case of the food, they go there with the van to bring it to the food bank, right? And for us who are enjoying it, although I've not been doing it, you can judge me. We're supposed to go there to volunteer. So that's it. So then you have what we call the professional network. That has to do with your job, your profession. Are you a lawyer? You just met a judge in one of those conferences, you want to get to know more, you want to know how to become a judge, connecting with that person on that professional level, you can find out some stuff. Like you're a doctor in Vancouver and there's a conference, somebody came from Africa, you might just be networking. How is medicine practice in Africa? Oh, I would like to visit Africa one of these days. I would like to help the poor and needy. I would like to go for outreach. When you have those network, when you are going for outreach or outreaches in those areas, because of the network you have, things are made easier for you. So professional network is how you connect with people who are in the same field of interest. And then you also have the organizational network, which is groups, project groups, committees, councils. These are some examples of those organizational structure. And so having your network or relating and exchanging information and ideas within that structure is the organizational network. So stages of networking. The first stage is getting. Although it is true that novice networkers, when we mean novice, people who are not experienced with networking, they often focus on what is in it for me. What do I hope to get? So networking involves more than simply taking. Not just going there, okay, it's only what you need to get that is making you network. Everyone has something to offer. Never look at yourself and say, what do I have to offer? This guy has everything. Everyone has something to offer and everyone has a need. There is no person that has everything. I remember when I was growing up, my mother said something to me that even the richest man has a need, has something that he does not have. And I said, no, Mama, they have everything they need. She said, okay, now, there are some things that you might see, basket, the way they said in my local language, ekete. So you cannot find it in a rich man's house. He may need it. It might be found in the poor person's house. But when you ask him and he says, oh, I have all, you tell him, give me this. He doesn't have it. There is something you can offer. If you cannot offer money because the person has money, you can offer your services. Sometimes people don't even need your services. All they need from you is a smile. Everyone has something to offer. There is someone that I called recently and said, oh, I'm just checking on you. And I told my husband, I said, the way this person responded, it means that nobody has checked on the person for a long while. Some people are there, nobody ever calls to say, how are you doing? How has your week been? And apparently, the next day, my children said this person went to the hospital for checkup. It could be that the person was just there, like, so if I die right now, nobody has called to check on how I'm faring. So you have something to offer. It might just be that call to say, how are you doing? Yes. And the problem is that people that we look at, that they have everything, people don't give to them. So many people want to collect from them. The smallest thing that they can afford that you will give to them, they cherish it, they keep it. I don't want to use the word, say they worship it. It's not because they can't afford it. It's because someone looked at me to give me something. When everybody who comes around are always believing that I have everything, is all they can get from me. That makes a whole lot of difference. So never look at yourself to say, I have nothing to offer. We all have something to offer, even if it's your smile. And so, in striking that network relationship or creating that network, what do you have to bring to that table? Oh. So most people who start networking do so with the intention of getting something for themselves, at least at first. There's nothing wrong with hoping that your efforts will be rewarded. However, it is only half of the tale. The most successful networkers approach the process with the mindset that they want something, and in turn, they want to be valued contact. So you approach it that although you want something, you also have something to offer, so that the other person will also require you. Consider your personal interaction with others. Don't you want to give back much more than you receive when someone helps you? That's just the way people are, right? So the next stage of networking is exchanging. Networking is all about exchanging something of worth. This is something that trades help with. Typically, the taking and dealing stage result in one-time networking outcome. For instance, you could have developed a streamlined checklist for your institution that will be as beneficial as a state organization. The attitude worker doesn't stop there. She or he attempts to build a long-lasting relationship of this one-time transaction. So what does that mean? When you're a networker, like we say, some people say opportunity comes but once. That's a proverb that I used to hear when I was growing up. It is an opportunity. They may have sent you to go meet somebody with something, but the way you present yourself, the outcome of that meeting can lead to long-lasting relationship, can lead to you being able to go back there to even get other stuff. Like I talked about my son's encounter with someone, and that first meeting that they had was the only meeting. But now he has a long lasting relationship with that guy. And this person, ironically, finished from the school where he is and is a boss of an establishment, a government establishment. He was able to have that interview, they have the contact, and there's now a long lasting relationship. So for someone who is a networker, an opportunity of speaking with somebody one day, it does not end after that first encounter. They follow up. And it can lead to a long-lasting relationship. So in conclusion, networking and relationship dynamics are closely related. If you have a positive dynamics, you will maximally benefit from that relationship. That's in fact, striking a relationship is networking. No matter the relationship, no matter the level, because everybody are multifaceted. Like I was saying, Pastor Blessing, I was saying Dr. Mrs. Blessing. Just knowing this woman, I can benefit from her spiritually as a pastor. I can benefit from her in terms of food. When I need counseling, she's a counselor, I can benefit from her. She has business idea, I can benefit from her. There are areas that I may look at and say, oh, I want to learn from her. I'll go to her in those areas. She will be able to mentor me in those areas. And there's above all, you never catch her dressing shabbily. If I want to step up in my dressing, I can also meet her. So relationship doesn't just end that, oh, this is the relationship. And that's why we shouldn't say, oh, if the dynamics is negative, then that is it. We must try to put an effort to see how we can change our ways or because sometimes when the dynamics of a relationship is not okay, it may not necessarily be from the person who you are relating with or connecting with. It may be how you are presenting yourself. It may be how you are perceiving the situation. It may also be from you. So you can also start by looking at yourself to say, is there anything I'm doing wrong? Is there any transference or counter transference? Do I even have anything to offer? Or I'm just like, I'm sorry, okay, let me not use that word. I'm just like, I'm stuck. I have to use the word. I hope I'm not just it's not a parasitic relationship. It's a mutual benefit. So when you've assessed yourself, then you can communicate. Because sometimes you might be feeling that this is a negative relationship. The person may not also be perceiving it that way. And that's why we talked about effective communication some time ago. Then you can effectively say to this person, this is what I'm observing. And you'll be too shocked sometimes. They will say, oh, I'm so sorry. It's because I've been so busy. This is not how I mean to present this thing, or this is not what I intended you to feel. Right? So we cannot separate networking from our relationship or the kind of dynamics we desire or we create. So it lies in our hands to create the dynamics we desire, by coming in prepared. So it is important to approach our relationship deliberately. So, Pastor Blessing, well, this is the little I have.
I think she did an amazing job. Wow, let's give her a clap. A round of applause. Let's give her all the love. I think you did an excellent job. Excellent. Oh my goodness. I wonder how long you took to prepare all these wonderful slides. Boy, you did an amazing job. And you really communicated. Let me use your effective communication word.
Oh, thank you.
Communicated. It was great. It was good. And I like the way that you brought it down home. That was good. Initially, I know you were like reading, you say you're going to read off the slide, but you didn't. Eventually, you became yourself. And of course, it was good.
Thank
you.
Good.
So thank you so much. So I don't know if I'm going to stop recording for questions for our discussion section. So let me just, so that anybody that wants something private can